Hi, I'm Sarah Maywalt with Acuity Laser. Acuity sensors measure distance using light. Similar to anything that communicates with light, stuff that gets in the way is a problem. When I was a little kid, I got in the way a lot. I'd get caught up daydreaming at almost any time and lose track of the world around me. I'd often walk into the middle of the living room and look at the TV and get a bit mesmerized by the moving pictures on the box. Now, if I were at my grandma's house, the spell would always be broken the same way, with my grandma's voice behind me yelling, "Sarah, you're a better door than a window!" In this case, an Acuity sensor is the TV, and dust is your Sarah. Would that make you my grandma? The metaphor isn't perfect. The point is that it's essential that you keep anything from blocking the light of an Acuity sensor. Dust is one of the most common culprits, but it is often overlooked. Worse yet, many are not aware how easy it can be to damage a sensor's optics when attempting to remove that dust. Unfortunately, that's not the type of thing that's covered under warranty. This video will help you better maintain your Acuity sensor and keep your production lines running smoothly. Prevention is the best medicine. It's best to try to keep dust off the sensor in the first place. That prevents the dust from blocking the light and reduces the need to clean the sensor. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of ways to keep dust off a sensor. The simplest solution is to keep the dust out of the air in the first place. Dust mitigation and air filtration can not only keep your sensor working, they have health and safety benefits for the entire company. Another simple thing to do is just move the sensor away from the sources of dust. Now, that isn't always possible, but any amount of extra separation from sensor to dust reduces the effort needed to keep the sensor clean. What about an enclosure with a transparent window to protect the sensor? That is a possibility with our long-distance sensors. But dust will accumulate on the enclosure's window and cause the same problem. This does, however, protect the sensor from any potential accidental damage from cleaning. Replacement enclosure windows are much less expensive than replacing a sensor. If the sensor absolutely has to operate in a very dusty area, the best way to keep dust off the sensor is with compressed air or an air knife. This physically and safely removes the loose dust on the sensor, but it's not a 100% solution. There is one important thing to keep in mind about very dusty applications. If the environment is so dusty that the dust hangs in the air like a fog, the sensor may not be able to see through it. At that point, an air knife might only make things worse. Unfortunately, total prevention probably won't be possible, but any preventative steps you take will reduce your downtime and make the hassle of physical cleaning less frequent. Now let's talk about how to clean your laser machine. Well, your sensor has what we in the industry call crud all over the window, and it's starting to cause trouble. What do you do now? Whoa there, partner. Let's first talk about the ways that optics can be damaged. Most people with glasses will be familiar with the problem that scratches can cause. A scratch in your glasses blurs your vision wherever the scratch is. Similarly, a scratched sensor window or sensor lens can disperse light and ruin the focus on the detector. That doesn't always stop the sensor from working, but scratches will likely hurt the sensor's accuracy regardless. It's very important to clean optics with the correct tools. Some fabrics, wipes, and applicators are designed to be gentle to optics. It's important to use these because many common fabrics can be more abrasive than you realize. Not only that, some cleaning solvents can etch delicate optical glass. Please use only recommended tools and solvents. But even with the correct cleaning tools, the cleaning procedure is very important. The dust and dirt, the crud, can be tiny particles of material harder than the optics glass. Rubbing crud like that on the glass will scratch it. When reading our recommended procedure, some of the suggestions may seem overly time-consuming or cautious. But please remember, you can't unscratch glass. Now with that said, here is our step-by-step guide to cleaning your Acuity Laser. First, use compressed or canned air to remove as much crud as possible. But be careful. The liquid propellant in canned air can damage optics. If using canned air, the can should be upright and the nozzle should be far enough away from the sensor to ensure that no liquid propellant sprays on the optics. Remove any remaining crud using a lab-quality cotton-tipped applicator and either distilled water, deionized water, or 99% isopropyl alcohol to avoid as much residue as possible after drying. I'm always going to recommend 99% isopropyl alcohol, but 91% or 70% is okay. It's just not quite as good. Be careful. When using a cotton-tipped applicator, don't use it dry. As I said before, the crud itself can scratch the optics. Avoid scratching the optics by rotating the applicator as you are cleaning to lift the crud off the surface and keep clean cotton in contact with the surface. Once the applicator is dirty on all sides, it should be discarded and a clean applicator used. Q-tips can be used in place of the applicators, but they are not manufactured to the same standards as lab quality applicators and may be more likely to cause scratches, so just be careful. Once this is done, remove any remaining oil and fingerprints using optical wipes, such as Kimtech or applicators moistened with isopropyl alcohol. Again, don't use them dry. It's important to use only enough friction as necessary to get the job done. Optical wipes can scratch optics themselves. That was a hard-earned lesson for me. If you have any further questions, you can always contact our friendly tech support team at support@acuitylaser.com. And they can help guide you in keeping your Acuity sensors crud and scratch-free. And as always, if you're looking to purchase a new sensor or just want some information, please reach out to our sales team at sales@acuitylaser.com or call us at area code 503-210-5733. Thanks for joining me on this magical journey to learn how to clean your Acuity sensor.